throw it.
Oh, click start.
Oh yeah. Alright guys. Hurry. Holy crap.
I think you want your to use your
Thanks, Lewis.
Stay still, I can help you.
Oh no, she's using her own.
Francis, you should use your med kit.
Like,
Heal. Cover me.
Click that button.
okay. I click this button. What do you think will happen?
They're
Oh,
gonna pop out of there. That was not good. How did they get out? Hey, let's go fix this. This is 7 minutes. Let's finish though. We get it. Guys. Oh my god. Come on, get it. Alex, get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot the part of the floor. Look, there's blood.
I hate going out. I hate hospitals and doctors, lawyers. God, Francis, is there anything you don't hate? You know what I don't hate? I don't hate this.
I don't hate us.
No. Fine.
Okay, that was the end of this video. Watch us next time.